Big surprises are coming for the Kansas City Chiefs. As the Super Bowl approaches, rumors about Tyreek Hill are spreading rapidly. It looks like there's a strong possibility that Hill will rejoin the Chiefs. And if that happens, they will form an absolutely unstoppable team. Head coach Andy Reid seems incredibly excited about this potential reunion, and for good reason. Adding Hill's blazing speed and elite playmaking ability to an already dominant squad led by Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce would make the Chiefs an even bigger nightmare for opposing defenses. Home losses. Reid was also at the helm a few years ago when the Chiefs blew a 28-point lead to this weekend's opponent after taking the Titans to the playoffs. Why isn't Andy Reid's job at stake now? Based on what you've seen from Andy Reid, do you really want him to sit there and develop Patrick Mahomes over the next several years, potentially holding him back and keeping him from achieving his full potential? Do you really think at any point that Andy Reid will do anything other than continue losing wildcard round games? All right, so the Chiefs absolutely choked. Yeah, they need to get rid of Andy Reid and Alex Smith. They just didn't come out and play in the second half. I think they literally thought the game was over at halftime. Andy Reid is finally getting the respect he deserves and is being recognized as one of the greatest head coaches of all time. But it wasn't always like this. Andy Reid has been called things like a playoff choker and a regular season coach. There have been many names for Andy Reid. But in this video, we're going to talk about his journey, how he became the legendary head coach he is today. First, let's go over who Andy Reid is. Andy Reid, born March 19th, 1958, is a professional football coach and the head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs in the National Football League, NFL. Previously, he served as the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles from 1999 to 2012. From 2001 to 2012, he was also the Eagles' executive vice president of football operations. Reid is the only NFL coach to win 100 games with two different franchises and the only coach to appear in 4 consecutive conference championships with 2 different teams. He's widely considered one of the greatest NFL coaches of all time. However, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, there were a lot of negative things said about him, and Reid had to prove his doubters wrong. Reid has coached at several places, including BYU, San Francisco State, Northern Arizona, UTEP, Missouri, Green Bay, and of course the Eagles and the Chiefs. As an assistant coach, he won a Super Bowl with the Green Bay Packers, but let's take a deeper look at his time there. Reid was hired by Mike Holmgren at the Green Bay Packers in 1992, the same year Brett Favre joined the team. In 1995, Reid became the assistant offensive line and tight ends coach, helping lead the Packers to a Super Bowl win over the New England Patriots in 1996. He was named the Packers quarterbacks coach in 1997, replacing Marty Mornhinweg, who left to become the offensive coordinator for his former colleague in Green Bay, Steve Mariucci. While Reid's time in Green Bay was relatively short and he was still an assistant coach, this was the foundation for what would come next, his breakthrough as a head coach. On January 11th, 1999, Reid was hired by the Philadelphia Eagles. He was the second youngest head coach in the league behind John Gruden and the first to be hired as a head coach without first serving as an offensive or defensive coordinator. Many in Philadelphia and the media criticized the hire, arguing that other more experienced candidates were available. One of Reid's first major decisions was drafting dual threat quarterback Donovan McNabb with the second overall pick. However, he started former Packers backup Doug Peterson for the first 9 games of the 1999 season. Reid's first year with the Eagles ended with a disappointing 5-11 record. But the team quickly turned things around. In 2000, the Eagles finished with an 11-5 regular season record and won their first playoff game since 1995, defeating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on New Year's Eve. By 2001, Reid was named executive vice president of football operations for the Eagles, effectively making him the team's general manager. Reid had a say in player personnel decisions, similar to his current role in Kansas City. Although the Eagles had general managers, Tom Heckert 2005 to 2010, and Howie Roseman, 2010 to 2012, Reid had the final say on football matters. From 2001 to 2004, the Eagles won 4 consecutive NFC East titles, the longest streak in franchise history. They advanced to the NFC Championship game each of those 4 years, but lost in the first 3 attempts. In 2004, the Eagles secured the NFC's number 1 seed with a 13-1 record and rested their starters for the final 2 games. After 3 consecutive NFC Championship losses, they finally broke through, defeating the Atlanta Falcons 27-10 and earning a trip to the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, they lost to the New England Patriots 24-21. The 2005 season was a difficult one for Reid. He clashed with Terrell Owens, whose flamboyant personality led to his release from the team. Shortly after, Donovan McNabb suffered a season-ending injury, resulting in a disappointing season for the Eagles. In 2006, McNabb was injured again, and the team struggled. Though the Eagles finished 10-6 and won the NFC East, they were eliminated by the New Orleans Saints in the divisional round. By this time, Reid was facing increasing criticism. Despite regular season success, the Eagles had yet to win a Super Bowl under his leadership. In 2007, the Eagles missed the postseason. In 2008, they lost to the Arizona Cardinals in the NFC Championship game. In 2009 and 2010, they were eliminated in the wild card round, first by the Dallas Cowboys and then by the Green Bay Packers. The mounting playoff losses led to growing frustration among Eagles fans and the media. By 2012, everything came crashing down. The Eagles finished with a disastrous 4-12 record, the worst season of Reid's tenure. It also marked the first time the team had missed the playoffs in consecutive seasons under him. At that point, the Eagles decided to part ways with Reid, opting not to renew his contract. Many viewed him as a regular season coach who couldn't win when it mattered most. The narrative of Reid being a playoff choker seemed cemented in the eyes of many. But Reid wasn't done yet. On January 4th, 2013, he signed a 5-year contract with the Kansas City Chiefs. However, even with his fresh start in Kansas City, the questions about his playoff struggles followed him. Could he finally shake the choker label and win it all? That's where we dig deeper. The Chiefs fired general manager Scott Pioli, and Reid's contract made him the final authority in football matters, giving him the same power he had in Philadelphia. A week later, the Chiefs hired John Dorsey, who had previously worked with Reid as an assistant in Green Bay, as their general manager. Reid and Chiefs owner Clark Hunt announced that Dorsey would have the final say in personnel matters. On the same day, Hunt stated that both Reid and Dorsey would report to him on an equal basis. In the past, Chiefs coaches have reported to the general manager. In Andy Reid's first game as head coach, the Chiefs defeated the Jacksonville Jaguars 28-2, marking their largest opening day victory since beating the Denver Broncos 59-7 in 1963. Then in week 3, Reid returned to Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia for a Thursday night football game against his former team, the Philadelphia Eagles. As Reid walked onto the field before the game, the crowd gave him a standing ovation. The Chiefs went on to win 26-6, and Reid received a celebratory Gatorade shower from his team. Reid led the Chiefs to a 9-0 start that tied for the best start in franchise history. Despite losing 5 of their last 7 games, the Chiefs finished the season 11-5 and secured a wild card spot in the AFC playoffs. However, in the wild card round, they were defeated by the Indianapolis Colts 45-44 after surrendering a 28-point lead in the third quarter. It's crazy how all of this happened in 2013 when I was just 7 years old. Under Andy Reid, the Chiefs recorded a winning record in the 2014 season, finishing 9-7, but failed to qualify for the playoffs. Then, in 2015, the Chiefs were in danger of missing the playoffs for a second consecutive year after starting 1-5. Reid took responsibility for the poor start, and his future with the Chiefs was even being questioned. However, the team bounced back. winning every remaining regular season game to finish 11-5 and clinch a wild card spot. That year, Reid led the Chiefs to their first playoff victory since the 1993 season with a dominant 30-0 shutout of the Houston Texans. Unfortunately, they lost 27-20 in the divisional round against the New England Patriots. Brady had a long history of defeating Reid in the playoffs. It was honestly crazy. I know Andy Reid must have hated Brady for that. Despite the loss, the Chiefs' 11-game winning streak was the longest in franchise history. Reid was criticized for his clock management in the playoff loss, particularly for not calling timeouts during a late fourth-quarter drive that cut the Patriots' lead from 27-13 to a one-score game. The drive, however, took 5 minutes and 16 seconds, leaving the Chiefs with only 1 minute and 13 seconds to attempt a comeback. In 2016, the Chiefs improved in the regular season, finishing 12-4 and clinching their division for the first time since 2010, their first AFC West title under Reid. Now, they also went undefeated against their AFC West rivals, securing the divisional title on a tiebreaker with the 12-4 Oakland Raiders. The Chiefs earned a first-round bye as the AFC's second seed, their first bye week since 2003. However, yet again, another year meant another playoff loss for Andy Reid. The Chiefs were eliminated in the divisional round for the second consecutive season, falling 18-16 to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Chiefs started strong in the 2017 season, winning their first 5 games and becoming the NFL's last remaining undefeated team. This included a victory against the defending Super Bowl champions, the New England Patriots, in the season's opening game. However, after their hot start, the Chiefs lost 6 of their next 7 games, leading Reid to hand over play calling duties to offensive coordinator Matt Nagy. The team rebounded, winning their last 4 games to finish 10-6 and clinch the AFC West for the second straight year. The first time in franchise history they won back-to-back division titles. But then the Chiefs suffered their 6th consecutive home playoff loss in a heartbreaking 22-21 defeat against the Tennessee Titans. Chiefs fans were furious. Many had lost patience with Andy Reid, calling him a playoff choker who would never win a Super Bowl. And honestly, I understood their frustration. I mean, blowing a 21-3 halftime lead and getting shut out in the second half as the Titans scored 19 unanswered points. That was brutal. Now, I know what y'all are thinking. Weren't you mad too? Well, let me tell y'all something. As much as I love football and have all this knowledge now, I wasn't even watching football back then. I was all about the NBA at the time. It wasn't until Patrick Mahomes came along that I fell in love with football and became a Chiefs fan. I didn't root for any team before Mahomes, and he's the reason I love the sport today. So I wouldn't say I was a bandwagon fan because when I became a fan, the Chiefs weren't even Super Bowl contenders yet. But yeah, now I'm a diehard Chiefs fan. I've seen everything in the Mahomes era. Speaking of the Mahomes era, let's get into how Andy Reid finally became successful and really took the Chiefs to another level. In 2018, Reid saw new success with the Chiefs, largely thanks to Patrick Mahomes' MVP season in his first year as the primary starter. The Chiefs finished the regular season as the AFC's top seed for the first time since 1997 and the first time under Reid, matching their 2016 record of 12-4. Reid also extended the franchise record for consecutive division titles by clinching the AFC West for the 3rd straight year. The Chiefs finally broke their home playoff curse by defeating the Indianapolis Colts in the divisional round, marking their first postseason home win since 1993. I know some people thought the Colts owned the Chiefs, but that was before Mahomes came along. Things changed after that. And just so y'all know, I've done my research. Even though I wasn't a fan back then, I've watched so many old games and studied everything about the Chiefs. I eat, sleep, and breathe Kansas City football. If anyone wants to talk Chiefs, my Twitter and Instagram are linked in my bio. Hit me up anytime. But back to the story. After that divisional win, the Chiefs hosted the AFC Championship for the first time in franchise history. And then once again, Andy Reid had to deal with Tom Brady. Man, this dude was a problem. In fact, from now on, we should call him Tom Annoying Brady because he always found a way to beat Reed. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like this video, hit the subscribe button, and stay tuned for my next update.